Spoiler alert, we're unpacking the whole plot, twist by twist. If you're spoiler sensitive, hit pause and come back when your TBR list catches up. Cheers!
Welcome to the podcast where our reading habits are unhinged.
And so are we.
I'm Gabby.
I'm Miranda.
And this is Marginally Unwell. Hooray! Hey, we got a fun one today.
It's a parade.
Reading another series. Well, series so far.
Incomplete series. Story of our lives.
Today we are talking about Fae and Alchemy by Kelly Clark. Dark fantasy series where Fae politics are deadly and magic is never safe. Between forbidden power, brutal bargains, and razor-sharp tension, this world doesn't hand out happy endings easily. Let's get into the chaos, the chemistry, and the consequences.
Not the consequences. Those can stay where they're at.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is, it's going to be 3 books. Am I making that up?
I heard it was 3 books. There is a novella. I don't know if you saw that, but it's a mini book in Kingfisher's POV across the first book.
Okay.
So it's, I think it's like less than 200 pages, somewhere between 100 and 200 pages. Yeah.
So the 2 books that are out right now that are of the main storyline is Quicksilver and Brimstone.
Yes.
It was released not too long ago. Ooh, we were pretty excited to...
Yes. This one's our popular read episode, and I know this one's been highly talked about, at least on my book talk feed.
A big anticipated read, for sure, this year. Yes. So let's jump into the questions.
Yes.
Ready. So we have our FMC, Saris. What were your first impressions of Saris, and how did your opinion of her change?
I mean, a lot gets thrown under her plate between the beginning of the first one and the end of the second one. But I think, honestly, she's, I want to say basically the same, because she's not, but, like, she's stuck to, like, her morals and her grounds. I think her eyes have opened up a lot, especially going into this other world, and I feel like she's taking on more responsibility. But I think that is just her character from the beginning, because she was, like, taking care of her brother, she was living off the street, she was already, like, working in the gray, she was, all these things, and then I think it just amplified it to where she's at now.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. I think overall she's pretty much stayed consistent. I think the change is because I feel like a lot of what she does, like her driving factors for things, is out of people she cares about. And in the beginning, she really only had her brother and
Her her welding master guy?
Yeah, the like Smith guy. Anyway, so she really only had them, but then as she goes over to this other side, at first obviously she resists and she's like, "Yeah, we're holding me captive here and all the things. They're like, we need you to help us out." And then
you're the only one available to do it. That whole trope.
You can only save the world.
Ew.
Yeah.
A 20-year-old human.
But I would say then once she, obviously, as the story progresses, then she has friends there, and then Kingfisher, obviously the love interest, things like that. And then she starts to care about these people, and so then she kind of goes ride or die for them. So I would say her personality is the same. It just shifts based on the fact that she has more people to...
She has a found family.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yep. Did the blend of Fae magic and alchemy feel balanced, or did one system overshadow the other?
I think the Fae magic is still more prevalent than the alchemy. I will say, though, I did kind of like that it wasn't just all Fae magic. I thought it was kind of interesting that they had the alchemy aspect, because that is like real, quote unquote, I guess. I don't know. But I like that because I feel like you really see that a lot. Like, it's either magic or not. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
There's no in between. And
Especially with fantasies.
yeah, you have magic and the muggles. So yeah, I don't necessarily think balanced would be the right term, but incorporation.
I did too. I kind of took this question as like two different versions. So obviously magic is the predominant system in this, but I also find it interesting that they talk about alchemy probably more than they talk about the magic system. Just because they're trying to figure out like the history of it, how they can implement it, how they can, win their wars or their battles through it.
Yeah.
How they can train her and stuff.
And using the alchemy like within the magic system as well, because she's trying to like she's the alchemist, but then like it's with like she's trying to whatever she's doing, I can't think of the word right now. Whatever she's trying to do with the Quicksilver was what I was trying to get at. I can't think of the word. But anyway, obviously the Quicksilver is a magic. And so it's interesting to see that like collide. Kingfisher is deeply morally gray.
I don't know about deeply.
Yeah. I feel like deeply is kind of a strong word, but we're gonna go with it. At what point did you trust him, if at all?
I don't know. Also, I think like he is a hardcore ride or die, and as soon as like someone breaks into his inner circle, that's it. Those are his people. And I don't think he necessarily not these are the certain people that he will go to bat for, and if the other people are in the way, then that's how I kind of feel about it. I also think it was a turning point whenever you realize he actually has deep relationships with other people. I think that's where I earned more trust with him whenever he wasn't just an a-hole. He was an a-hole for a reason, and he has people that actually like respects and will listen to, and
people that like will follow him no matter what. Because right in the beginning it was a lot of like he basically like left his people and he was being straight a-hole, like you said, to Theris and everything. So I would agree with that once you kind of see more like his other relationships. But I don't feel like I ever like didn't trust him, and not just like as a reader, because obviously you know where this is going. But so I feel like trust is like a hard thing whenever I'm asked questions like that, because I'm like, well, I never truly distrusted him because like
his character was still developing.
Yeah. But as far as like me starting to like him more, maybe I don't know. I would say probably around that time as well.
Yeah. I also think that it's funny where he's like, his interactions with the fox, the fox name's Onyx?
Yeah.
Where he's like, straight dad, I don't want the cat in the house or the dog in the house, and then it's like his best friend.
Yeah, he loves it like the most, secretly.
I like that. How did the mating bond trope work for you in this series? Earned, rushed, or just right?
I do feel like this was a little bit rushed. Came up kind of quick. And again, I think it was something to be expected, but
let me ask this.
Okay.
What is the mating bond trope? Is that whenever they like
basically whenever they're like mates?
Fated mates.
Yes.
So it's essentially like a soulmate. The fantasy version of soulmate.
Right. And so it's like they're destined to be together. Their love is the strongest because they are mated. Like they found their one person type of deal.
I'm gonna say it's my least favorite.
Really?
For real. I'm like, especially with like fantasy series, because it's like, look at the age difference. It kind of grosses me out.
Why? Because he's like 800.
He's like 800 and he's like 20. It's basically an infant. He's like this bright-eyed, full of wonder, and he's like this hard-scorned warrior. I kind of like that, but like, I just think it's crazy.
I mean, relatively though, in their timeline.
Yeah.
But that's crazy.
I don't like the soulmates. I don't like the soulmates thing. Or the fated. I feel like it's overdone. You see it a lot. in fantasy.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why it's a trope, because there's a lot of it happening. I don't mind it. I do think whenever it's like, in this case particularly, I felt like it was a little bit rushed. Like, obviously, could have guessed that was going to happen and found out that they were meant to be in blah blah blah. But it did happen like very quickly. It went very quickly from like, oh, I'm trying to do this. She comes, hates him, and then she's like, just like accepts everything, and then life made it. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
Her brother's still stuck. That she only cared about her brother originally. He's still stuck in this other world.
Yeah, because I mean, it was before the end of the first book. I mean, it was what, like maybe like halfway through the first book.
Yeah, it was maybe at the 2/3 mark, halfway there.
That was probably like 2/3. Yeah,
it's like no yearning, no like, does he think this? You know, I feel like that part I really like is whenever they're just trying to like figure it out without like exposing that they like the other person.
Yeah.
I feel like that was rushed. So
yeah,
I'm like, that's the good part.
Yeah, no, they went straight into it. Well, first of all, they went straight into doing it, and then because that happened pretty quickly as well, and then it was like, oh yeah, we're mates for sure, like all of these.
So we're doing it, and it's like, oh, you're my soulmate.
Carrion's reveal as their lost heir is huge. Did you see it coming, and how did it reframe his earlier action?
I didn't see it coming that he was a lost heir. I did figure he had something to do with the magic world because he's just so carefree, nonchalant, like bigger picture kind of feel. Like he had the mentality of there's a bigger world, a bigger picture, and he's just like just doing whatever he wants because he's like, this is just a drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
But him being the prince or whatever to some other thing that I thought was hilarious because he's just out there like, I like that kind of character where they're just kind of out to party, do whatever they want, and then but they also have like this huge responsibility that they're like, should I you know? So I like that kind of like, what should they do? And then I always think that they're gonna do pretty well if they carry the responsibility well, because I feel like they balance their good roller.
Sure. Yeah, I definitely feel like I knew once Kingfisher came back with him whenever he was supposed to go get her brother. I was like, he obviously played some sort of bigger role. I did not think it was going to be like literally like the heir and everything. And then also surprised that he was fully aware. Like he knew.
Oh yeah.
He just like was like, I'm just gonna ignore this kind of thing until it becomes an issue.
I'm gonna do what I want until I gotta do something.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, that's me. So that was kind of funny. But yeah, I didn't really see that coming. So that was a good one. Plus, I really like his character.
Yeah. He's probably one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
Him and what's the Spark's name? Archer, the spider sprite, where he's like just trying to run the castle, and he's like, no, my lady, you can't go in here. It's against the rules. And she's like, I can make my own bed. Like, it's okay.
And he's like, no, I have to do everything for you. Oh my gosh. he's very like, he's type A personality for sure. He's like, you're wrong.
A very traditional type A.
She's like, I'm panicking.
No, frantic.
I cannot call you that because I think she was like, you can just call me Sarah. And he's like, no.
Absolutely not. Which character decision caused the most emotional damage, even if it made sense in the moment?
Well, I was trying to think about this question. I'm trying to think of like where.
It's hard to, and I was thinking about this as well. It's hard to ascertain like what is a hard emotional damage because they are so unserious and sarcastic throughout the entire book. It's like, yes, something really bad happened, but then they kind of, because it's so fast paced, they have to move on. And I think the way that they do that is
humor
and relatable. Can relate. But as far as like the only thing that really comes to mind with emotional is Kingfisher's relationship with his father and his mother, or how his mother passed, but it's not like really a character decision.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I was like for emotional side was the whole situation where Onyx almost died and then
Yeah, honestly, I cried a little bit because I was like, that sucks.
I didn't cry, but like it was emotional. So
It was emotional.
I hate you. But
Um,
I'm trying to think of like an actual decision that was made. Maybe whenever Caldeus, whenever he was basically gonna like sacrifice himself to like poison everybody. Is this when they're in the cave? No, whenever they're like at the party and they drink that wine, because he's like trying to like
poison the vampires?
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
And then he like drinks it too because he had that's why he had the tattoo to like hold the spell basically,
Mhm.
and then he almost
Dies.
died because
Yeah.
that was a character decision.
That was a good one.
And he like that's also why he wanted to like release her from the
bond.
From him
Mhm.
turning her and
Yeah.
everything. Probably that one, I guess, if we're talking like an actual decision.
Yeah. That was a good one. Good find.
The wheels were turned. I feel like it's hard sometimes because sometimes I feel like not a lot of the decisions they make are emotional because like they're making them out of like they have to, and it's not because of a decision they made. It's like the circumstance.
Yeah.
And so then I don't really feel like they have a lot of choice, I guess. So
That makes sense. Valid.
The power dynamics between the Fae courts play a major role. Did they enhance the story or complicate it too much?
I mean, I think it comes with this type of book, honestly. I think it brings in politics, it brings in another layer. I thought it did enhance the story because it's not just these two places, like where Saris is. What is the place that she was originally from? I can only think of Madra, which is like the ruler. And then the place where she gets transported to in the Quicksilver with Kingfisher. I also like the Vampire Court. I think that was a really cool throw in there.
The Blood Court.
The Blood Court, yeah. I think it adds to it. I think it's not just as black and white and puts it more into the gray that they're actually so far. That's
what
it.
she's originally from.
You're right. I think it adds to it. I think it makes it more layered. I think it gives it more gravity of the decisions that they need to make. You know, who are allies, who are foes, who could potentially, double cross you for their court or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think it adds some layers.
Yeah. I think like court to court, it was. I guess it enhanced it. I don't know. I don't know how I'm feeling about the whole like vampire aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that to me was a little weird thrown in there, but maybe I'm just not into vampires. I don't know. But
It's
like
a vampire girly.
I know, and I mean, it's not that I don't like because I mean,
it is.
We talk about like iconic like Twilight and stuff. Obviously, I liked it, but
yeah,
this is very. I feel like different because it's like a normal Fae world, and then vampires thrown in there seems.
Yeah,
I'm like, what?
It's like a blend between fantasy and then like here's a supernatural aspect to it because I was thinking of it more not like Twilight but more of like Anne Rice's.
Yeah, I wasn't saying like it was like Twilight. I was just saying like I have liked stories or have liked books with like vampires, but like I feel like this was going more like traditional like Fae fantasy stuff, and then it was like vampires that's in there, and so yeah, it's like the supernatural aspect of it. So I don't know how I feel about that, but I feel like the power dynamics just between courts, that's pretty normal. I mean, we talk about something common like Akatar or whatever.
Yeah.
There was strife between the courts, but then like also the humans. So I feel like that's basically what's happening here. The only difference is one of the courts is like a vampire, so that was a little different. But I don't feel like it complicated it. I feel like that was pretty on par for
this type of story.
Yeah,
I agree. How did you feel about Saris's transformation and rise to power? Empowering or overwhelming?
Either.
I agree. I was like, well, that took a turn. But
yeah, that was crazy that she ends up becoming Queen of the Blood Court because she kills Malcolm. And then
which is so random. I felt like that was so, like, they introduced, like you were saying, this whole vampire court, which I agree comes out of left field. That's kind of why I'm interested in it, because I haven't seen that before.
Yeah.
So I'm like, let's see where this is going. And then now she's the queen of this. Like, if you think about it, how long has she been in this Fae world? Like,
Not
6
long.
months, maybe, max?
I don't even think it's been that long. But yeah.
I'm being generous.
Yeah. I mean, it was a short time.
So we find out she can be part Fae. She's an alchemist. She's the only one that can save their world and her world.
Because, like, alchemists are not really...
Yeah, she's like the only one in the last...
that they know of.
1,000 years or something. And then they throw in this blood court with the vampires, and then now she's the queen of the vampires.
It was like pretty quick to get into a fight with them, and she kills like the king, and then now she's queen. This was all in the first book. Yeah, I feel like it was very fast. I don't know. I feel like it definitely could have been. I don't know.
I feel like
I don't want it to be like drawn out more than necessary, but I don't feel like it was fully like.
Yeah, I agree. I
developed.
I feel like this is and I, you know what? Let me say it. I feel like this is the SpongeBob version of a fantasy series.
What a wild take!
You know, like
I was not expecting SpongeBob to enter this customer's face.
It's so chaotic and random and just like so ADHD driven and like fast paced. And I don't know, but I also, and while I was thinking about it, you know what's also kind of like this is Crescent City. It's so much stuff happens, but I don't feel like it is. I feel like
it's more story building though
in
Crescent City.
Yes, I feel like there's a lot more going on in the background versus this is all happening on
like
the front
this is
end.
the main storyline.
Yeah,
and it happens so fast instead of just like all these side things are happening quickly while the like main story is like going on. Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of side things that come in later. And whenever they do happen, they say, oh, well, so-and-so was doing this in the background. So you don't even get to go on, like, these little side quests.
Yeah.
Like, throughout
they just, like, meet up and they're like, this is where he was at.
Yeah, and it really played into this role right now in this critical moment. You're like, okay, thank God.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It was almost more like I don't want to say like an afterthought, but it just, like, wasn't fully developed. But it was like, there was this main story, and then like, so the plot points in the main story, and then it's like, well, we have to make sense of like how so and so got here, or how this is like gonna happen. So we're just gonna like throw in this. Well, this is where they were. Yeah, Queen Madra and the Triumvirate. I'm not sure how you say that. Serve as major antagonists. Were they compelling villains or more symbolic obstacles?
I think Madra is more of a villain, like a corrupt leader, power hungry, and I think the TV is more symbolic. Well, maybe not symbolic, but it's not one person. It's like their governance or whatever.
Well, and I mean, she is queen of the Blood Court, so like, while they may pose some like resistance, like realistically, I mean, she's already like surpassed that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't really feel like a villain. However, how the second one ended with us finding out that Nadra is like a witch and all the things that she's been doing is like a giant spell, basically,
sneaky.
and taking everything from the people. I feel like that's a villain.
Yeah,
they're going to have to like plan to like. Honestly, I feel like Malcolm would have been seen more as a villain, but that ended so fucking quickly that
there's no chance. No chance for a sideline.
Yeah.
Good points. Everlane's storyline is tragic.
Yeah.
Did her fate feel inevitable, or could it have been handled differently?
Honestly, Evelyn's story was crazy to me also. The more I'm like thinking about how this all went down, I'm like really questioning how I felt over the overall book.
You know what? I was thinking the same thing because
I feel like,
don't get me wrong, it was a good ride when I was reading it, but like actually digging in and discussing it, I'm like, was it?
yeah, because I feel like my rating that I gave it, which obviously we'll get to,
Yes.
is not matching as we're talking through this a little bit more. So I think the vibes were there, but now that I'm like really
Digging in.
giving it some critical thinking, I'm not so sure, you guys. So let's see. Her storyline was so crazy because she was kind of a bigger role whenever she first goes to the like Fae realm,
Mm-hmm.
because she's basically like her guide kind of, and it's like, oh, like we need your help here, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm here to help you, and like all the things. We find out that she is Kingfisher's sister,
Mm-hmm.
and that was during his a-hole era.
Yeah.
And then we don't really see much of her.
Yeah.
Because then it's a lot about like what's going on with them and the bond and all the things. And then she is taken by Malcolm. That's how the fight starts, where she ends up killing
Helena Troy.
But it was very, along with the vampires being brought in, it was kind of out of left field. It didn't ever
What
really
was the
talk about.
purpose of
It was
like, them?
briefly talked about.
Yeah.
That he got her. Like it was basically like he got her.
But why?
Like it was.
Yeah. It's just random. They're like, oh, well, all these big things, and then we have to deal with something immediately. So we have to sidebar our big things and go and do this, which turned into another big thing. It's almost like it was thrown in there so she can go there to become the queen.
Yes, that's what I was saying. It
Yeah.
was like the main story had these plot points, and it was like she wanted
How do we connect?
Theris to be the Blood Court queen, and so she was like, "Well, how does that get there?" And then she was like, "Oh, well, they had to go kill Malcolm. Well, why did they kill Malcolm? Oh, because he captured her sister.
Her sister.
Yeah,
And makes him want
and so
to
it was
go
just
there.
like that's what happened." But not really talked about like how it happened. Like when we found out, it was because he had her.
Yeah.
And then they fought. So
They
definitely didn't feel inevitable because I did not think that was happening, especially before I knew that there were vampires. Definitely could have been handled differently though. So
Moving on.
I think the inevitability could be there's an argument for that as like that needed to happen to get there. I feel like we could have had it could have been handled differently and we could have had more to that storyline to help connect all the dots.
Yeah, I don't think her being kidnapped or taken by Malcolm was really necessary. I don't think it was inevitable unless there's something that's coming later as to like why she's in a coma or whatever. Like maybe she needs to talk to Fisher's mother. I have no clue.
Yeah, because I guess that happened.
It's still an open series, but as of right now, with the context that we have, it feels like it was thrown in there so she can go there to become the Blood Queen. Which, I mean, that can be written in any way. They could have gone there to like as like a Hail Mary to help them with this other thing, and then it gets escalated and she kills him. Like that also could have happened.
Because also, like, what's his name? Their like long lost friend that was turned.
Yeah.
Was there. So like that could have been the reason.
They already have a connection.
Yeah. So I don't know why we needed to do that, but
He needs to suffer.
hopefully there's a reason coming, like that maybe. What role did secondary characters like Ren, Lorth, and Selena play in grounding the story?
None. I mean, maybe Lorth. I think
there was a lot more about Lorth, I feel like.
Yeah, I think he is like a sounding voice for Kingfisher, and he's a little bit of a loose cannon. So I think that I don't think Ren and Helena have much.
Well, Helena is the one who's healing him from the Quicksilver stuff.
Well,
But
yeah,
I mean that is a role, but what role did they play? I mean, in what role do they play in grounding the story? I mean, yeah, I mean, she's healing him. She's trying to help his Quicksilver situation. But is that grounding the story? I don't know. That could have, again, been anything, or he could have just been living with it, or
Yeah, or they could have found another healer.
yeah.
She
Or maybe
doesn't-
he doesn't get healed. Maybe they're looking for a reason, or not looking for a reason, but looking for a cure.
Yeah.
I don't know about them grounding the story.
She's not.
I don't want to
She's-
say unimportant.
She plays a role, but she's not grounding the story. Orith, I feel like, may have a little bit more standing on that because he and Kingfisher have a bit of rapport, and Ren, I don't think is much of a developed secondary character as Orith.
I would agree with that, but they're both his yeah. And
Yeah.
so I feel like maybe grounding Kingfisher and his character art, I feel like that because I mean, I guess we said it earlier that that was when we started gaining trust and likability for Kingfisher. It's seeing him with basically these guys, Ren and Lorith, because we see how he acts with them and his loyalty to them and vice versa.
Yeah.
So maybe grounding his character.
Yeah. We'll go with that. Did the pacing across the two books work for you, especially during the final confrontation?
I mean, again, we've said it a lot. It was very quick. The story was quick, but I don't feel like the pacing of the actual book was bad. There wasn't a lot of I don't know.
I don't think the pacing was a problem. I think that the plot points are all so high that it's you're jumping from thing point to point so quickly.
Yeah.
There isn't any underlying relationships or building or
Yeah, I feel like the only relationship that's building is really
theirs. And then a little bit of what's his name? The prince that didn't know that Carrion. Maybe a little bit of him because she's also I thought it was hilarious where he was kind of having an existential crisis of do I become the heir and step into that role? And she's I don't know how to help him, but I want to help him. And she's super awkward about it. And I'm you. And then whenever I was reading this part, I was can you not, or anyone in this story, have an actual heart to heart or anything? Because at any point, whenever they're you're my soulmate, or you're my person, or where have you been? I love you so much, and blah 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 blah. They have to throw this jab or this sarcastic thing, so it's something, and I feel and I feel it ruins it, and I feel it doesn't they don't commit to their. I find that kind of hard, especially with her not being able to actually support Carrion with this really big decision.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel getting him more information on the whole Fade realm and everything would be more helpful to him. Because I feel they're kind of just oh crap, you're the heir.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, and really aren't helping him
or supporting him.
Especially all the people Ren, Laura, whoever else is there. I don't feel they've been. Those would be the people who should be supporting Carrion. And I get that he kind of came from her world, her world, but
she's one part of it. She's the. I feel
she's how he ended up getting there, but they should be the ones because they have the most tie to where he's supposed to be going.
Yeah. Well, let me ask this question so she is the one that's supposed to make this major change and for them to be able to be free and live in a better world. She's the pivotal point,
right?
But then wouldn't he, being the heir, be the aftermath of that?
Yeah.
So why are they only putting all of their resources in Ceres for this big change, but then not
what's going to happen after the change?
Yeah, but not laying any groundwork for because it's going to be total anarchy.
Because obviously
and he's not
freaking
even
out too.
He's not even committed to it.
Yeah. So I think if they were to support that more, it would give him more confidence to like be able to move forward with that, and then like actually, like you were kind of saying, like having a plan after whatever's going to go down with Madra and everything. So yeah,
They're just going off vibes.
yeah. How did the series handle trauma and immortality, particularly through Kingfisher's long history?
Well, particularly through Kingfisher, and we just threw it way down deep and just kept fighting. And then immortality, I don't. Well, the Quicksilver is slowly killing him, isn't it? Like he's dying.
I don't know if he's dying, but I feel like it like will make you go crazy. That's how I kind of took it until you're like
Mad. See, I thought he was gonna be going mad and then go mad and then be dead after.
yeah.
Because they're like healing him and like healing his mind or whatever, but I don't know. I'm not too sure about that. I feel like the immortality thing.
Honestly, I don't feel like that's talked about a lot in this book.
Yeah, it's just thrown in there whenever they're trying to make a point to Ceres, and they're like, which isn't even that great because they're like, I don't know, I have feelings about this, but whenever they're like, oh well, Ceres, you're brand new to this. I've been doing this for hundreds of years, and it's like, okay, you've been doing this for hundreds of years. You need her for this particular thing and a fresh perspective. Obviously, what you've been doing for 200, 300, 500 years is not working. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
And then trauma, I think they're
They all just, like,
deflecting.
yeah, 100%. They all just like push it.
They push it to the side and crack jokes. And then drink.
Pretty much, yeah. I feel like he is slowly maybe dealing with the trauma with his mom.
Yeah.
But that's as like where he's like talking to them and gave her the book and whatever. So maybe that will get more dealt with. But I think that's the only trauma that I've really seen like actually being addressed other than just like, well, I just have to keep going.
What power portrayed more as a gift or a burden in this world? Obviously, the Quicksilver is a burden.
Yeah.
Could also be a gift. It's kind of cool to teleport.
I feel like it's portrayed more as a burden, especially because Kingfisher is having to be like healed from it, basically.
Yeah.
So
also,
I feel like it's like portrayed more as like a necessary evil. Like,
yeah.
And that is why I would say burden was a gift. Obviously, it's a gift because it's what they're going to need to like help the world.
Yeah.
But
I also think
it's killing him. So
I also kind of think the same for Ceres's alchemy. So yes, it's a gift that someone finally has the alchemy power, but it's also a burden because she's the only one that
so she has to like figure it out all by herself.
Yeah, and
because nobody else could possibly understand because nobody knows how to do it. So
so there's a lot of research in very old books. A lot of running around trying to find people that may or may not be dead. So I would find that burdensome. I don't know if that's a word.
If it's not, we just made it work.
It works.
How did the romance affect the overall plot? Did it strengthen the stakes or distract?
I think it honestly it kind of ignited it because of what's going on in the story. Because everything is so at a level 10.
There has to be
clinging.
some reprieve, number one. And also, we already talked about how they basically are only doing this stuff because they care about the people around them. So, like, if we didn't have that,
Where would we be?
Where would the drive be, I guess, for the plot? So I would say strengthen the stakes. I don't feel like there's a distraction. Honestly, probably need more of the relationships, like you were saying.
Yeah, but this is romance.
Oh. So, well, yeah. So I guess it's just like completely with the two of them. But I mean, that was really the only.
I kind of have a problem with their romance. I think like that's their relationship or whatever. But I'm also reading about it, so I'm gonna judge it a little bit.
Okay.
But I find it very hard to connect with them as a couple because of them jumping so quickly from one thing to, from like not knowing each other to like, I'd live for you, I'd die for you, I'd do anything, and you're my whole world, and all of this, like, less than 6 months.
I mean, that's the book world. That's fantasy world.
I know, I can't.
I mean,
I get it.
it's
and
not like
I can't.
It's not like
I get
in real
it
life
in
I
this-
can imagine doing that with anybody.
No, that'd be crazy.
That's what I'm saying. So
But I'm saying, like, in this context, because of all of these, like, events and life changes that are happening in this book, like, I kind of get it, but it's hard for me to connect with them because I think that they missed a lot of steps along the commitment journey of their relationship. And just towards the end, like, whenever he found, I'm sure we're spoiling everything, but whenever he found out his true name and she just all of a sudden started calling him his true name, and it was like, it just felt right and all this stuff. I'm like, what are you doing? What is going on here? I can't. I found it so cringy. I couldn't do it. And I don't know. I am not connected to the relationship. So, but yeah, what did you pick?
I mean, I already said that I think it strengthened the stakes for them. If anything, I think that's what it needed because, like, they had to have somebody there. Yeah. Something to, like, actually fight for, I guess.
Yeah.
I do think that that's how it affected the overall plot. Now, again, I did say, well, I don't feel as strongly as you about, like, the 6-month thing or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I did say that, like, I felt like that part of the storyline was rushed,
Yeah.
especially with, like, getting to, like, the intimacy parts and then, like, they're mated and
Yeah.
like, all that I feel like was rushed. But, again, the timeline doesn't really bother me because that's pretty on par for it. And I guess whenever you have, like, that deep of trauma and, like, the end of the world, I guess maybe you can move a little quicker.
Yeah. The context.
Yeah.
What moment made you fully emotionally invest in the series?
I don't know. I don't remember a time where I was like a specific time. I do feel like I got emotionally invested in it.
Yeah.
By the end, but I can't pinpoint, like, an exact moment where I was like, well, that was the time. Honestly, if I had to pick one, I think it maybe was when she got that sword. Or, well, I mean, she didn't really decide, but the sword ended up going to Laura.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that made me care more a little bit about all of them.
Yeah.
What was happening.
Yeah.
So I had to pick something, but again, I don't even know if to say that. That's just what popped in my head.
Honestly, I'm not really emotionally invested in the series. I'm more like, I think this is like a fun series, a fun world to explore, but it's not like a series that I'm emotionally invested in. Like, if I weren't paying attention and I forgot about, like, the next book release, I don't think I would. Yeah, I would be too upset if I missed reading it for a while. But there are really good aspects of the book.
Was there a choice a character made that you strongly disagreed with but still understood? I'm gonna say the same one I said for, like, the emotional decision or whatever that question was earlier, which was when Talades sacrificed himself to try to, like, kill off the
Vampires.
Yeah. While it was, like, sad, because I did kind of like him. Because he was like, I'm on this side, but, like, also here I am. But then, so, like, I understood why he was trying to sacrifice himself to, like, be done with it, but also, okay. I wouldn't say strongly disagree. That would be my only.
Yeah, I was gonna touch on that. Is in the second book, when Fisher and Curian went back to Sildarvin, to get her brother, and they had their own grow mission going on. I really liked that. I'm not gonna lie. I did like where,
well, because that was
building
the
a relationship.
only time that I feel like we actually understood what was happening outside of the main plot. That was the only one that we got, like, actual more information on.
Yes, I really liked this side plot because you see another relationship developing between two other characters that's not the love interest. And then I like their dynamic, you know, happy go lucky, whimsical, and then the brooding, serious, whatever. So I do like that. So while they were there, they're doing like the little side stuff, and they got to Ceres's teacher, and was it the teacher? I'm gonna go with the teacher, and if you remember differently, let me know.
The like blacksmith guy?
Yeah. Whenever they got to him, and they were trying, because he knew about Carrion being Fae, and Carrion was like, I didn't know. I want, you know, like, I want to know more. What do you know? How do you know about this? Blah, blah, blah. And so you learn, like, other levels of this character that's one trying to help Ceres. Like, he knows, maybe he knows that she is an alchemist, you know, like that was her true thing throughout her childhood or whatever. So he's maybe helping develop that. But then he decides to stay and they let him stay there instead of taking him back to the Fey world. So I disagree with that because I feel like that could have helped some of the foundation of the story and get some more information. But I disagree with that. But I understood it because, you know, they still need to figure it out. Yeah. But yeah. If you could rewrite one plot point or outcome, what would it be?
But I think the big one for me, as we talked through it earlier, was Everlane's story. I either would not have had that, and there would have been another reason to fight Malcolm and like get her to be the Queen of Bloodport, or I would have developed Everlane's story a little bit more before having her like taken.
Yeah. That way you have a little bit of more of an emotional connection to the character
To her being
taken.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
I agree with
think
that.
that's what I would.
I agree. I also would like to see more secondary character. So you mentioned the connection with the vampire court. Like, we could have had a POV of them, like, trying to get more information, trying to understand, like, where they still stand. Because it is an interesting character. Because they come from Fae and then they returned into a vampire. And then essentially they're shunned now from the Fae, but also shunned from the vampires because he was a Fae.
Yeah.
So it would be an interesting development to see his perspective and then also like which side is he standing on and how is he navigating through that.
Yeah.
And then how to gain confidence and trust with the party that he's committed to. So also another connection into the vampire world.
Satisfying. Did you find the ending of book 2? Did it feel like closure or a pause?
I feel like it was more of a pause. There was a lot going on at the end of the book 2. You did get more of a development in Ceres's powers. You get more of Madra's schemes and plots and where she's at with things. You get more insight of the Fae Court's government power dynamic, and then of course Fisher getting more closure and closer to understanding his mother's side of things with getting his true name, and they can finally do a true bond or whatever they were trying to do.
Yeah.
So I felt like a lot of stuff came up, but then like there wasn't. It lays the storyline for the next book, like what the bigger plot points are going to be for the next book.
Yeah. For sure, I think it was a pause, especially in regards to what's going on with Madra. Like, basically just developed her villain arc. Because, yeah, she was like a queen that didn't let people have water and like stuff like that. But
Rude.
Being like Marie Antoinette versus like she's a witch and has actually been like
sucking the life literally out of the ground.
So there's a difference. So they like just right at the end. So obviously that's going to be a big thing for 3, and I think having ended it there would have like that definitely wasn't an ending.
Yeah.
So for sure.
Would you continue the series or read more into those worlds? Why or why not?
Yes, I would. I don't know how, like you were kind of saying, maybe top priority, depending on like what I'm reading at the time as it comes out. Yeah, if I'm not like super in depth with anything, yeah, I'll probably pick it up, or it might. I'll probably find it easy to put on hold if I am like into something else. But the vibes were good, which I'll get more into that as we talk about our like reading. But I will continue it.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I would continue it, but it wouldn't be. I wouldn't like pre-order or like.
Yeah.
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 I just whenever I'm ready to like pick it up again.
Yeah. So that's what questions that we got for that. So, if any closing thoughts, would you recommend this book to others?
Yeah, I'd recommend it. I just say I'd tell them it's a wild ride. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, it is fast paced. It is adrenaline driven. It is. I like the banter between the characters. Don't get me wrong. It's also interesting how things kind of play out and how they come up towards the end. You know, like, yeah, I would recommend it.
I agree. I would also recommend it. I don't know much of saying this or not, but I will say that I actually did like the writing of the like intimate moments in this book. So if you're looking for like a spicy fantasy,
Yeah,
that's not like too crazy, but like
yeah,
you're looking for something like that. Yeah.
it is well placed in the book. It's
Yeah.
not like just some rando.
Yeah.
Let me just throw this in here real quick.
Yeah. Okay, so writing style.
Reading it, I really like the writing style because you're in it, you're immersed into this chaotic realm of them navigating the madness there. Going back, it's not necessarily reading as a writing, but like maybe plots or development or I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to gather like my thoughts.
That's
on
basically what I was gonna say. I did actually enjoy reading it.
Same.
But as we've dissected it a little more, I definitely think it could have been developed better. And whether that would be taking out some parts to be able to develop others more, or just developing all of it more.
Mhm.
I don't know, but kind of as we're talking through this and realizing that it may have been a little bit like some things were just kind of tossed in there to make it make sense.
Mhm.
And I love that, but I didn't really think about it while reading.
Yeah.
So
That's
take
interesting.
that for
right?
what it is. So if you don't think too hard about it,
Yeah.
you're golden.
Just go into it as a vibe.
Story engagement.
100% there.
Yeah.
The whole book is an engagement.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think it pretty well kept us engaged. So much so that we didn't even realize that the plot was crazy. We were so focused that we didn't even see
It's
it.
like we're trying to figure out what's going on.
Overall rating.
Overall rating, whenever I finished the book, I gave it a 4. Through this, which I don't think I've done this before, I have increased a rating. Like after I finished a book, it was a lower rating and then I increased it, but I'm kind of wanting to, I don't know, decrease, but it's also...
Here's what I was thinking, because as we got about halfway through this episode, and I was saying, like, I don't know if what I'm feeling in this moment accurately represents the rating I gave. I gave it a 4 also. I don't think it is fair to,
Take
for
away.
me, I don't think it's fair to take away, because in that moment, that's what I felt. And even if it's just for the vibes, like, that was it. And
Yeah,
so I'm
100%.
giving it a 4. I'm going to stay solid at my 4 for the vibes.
Okay.
Again, I wouldn't think too deeply on the plot. There's a lot of holes there. But it was a good...
It was a fun
Read.
read.
Yeah.
It was a good, fast-paced,
Again, I don't think it's
energizing.
going to be like literary gold here.
It's good.
I'm going to stick with my 4.
You're going to stick with your 4? All right. Solo on 5s. I'll stick with my 4. You convinced me.
5s only.
As soon as I was done, I was like,
If we're talking
4.
about the actual writing, it would be lower. But I think it's unfair. I had a good time.
I do too. All right. That's it for this week. Join us next Sunday for our bookish topic as we speed date our way through 10 genres. Bring your TBR and an open mind.